Hi guys, my name is Bethany Atazadeh and I'm super excited to talk to you today about 10 lessons I learned from my debut novel. This is a really fun, exciting collaboration I get to do with the talented Mari Suggs. Mari is a really awesome author and fellow YouTuber. She's got 3 published books. I'll put all the links for those below. Mari and I talked about all the different areas of writing and editing and publishing, and we came up with 10 different areas where we learned a very big lesson, and we want to share that with you guys today. We didn't share our answers with each other beforehand, so the second that we're done here, we're going to hop over to her channel, and I have the link for that below because I'm super excited to hear what she answers. This topic is perfect because I turned 30 last Sunday. Yes, I turned 30. Make sure to stay tuned until the end because I have a sweet deal for you guys for my birthday. My debut novel was Evelyn's Number, which is a story about a young girl named Evelyn who lives in a world where everyone has a number that declares who they are and their value in the world, and it's tattooed on their neck for everyone to see. On her numbering day, she's expecting to land a number in the same kind of class as her family because that's how things work in this world, and without giving any spoilers, things don't go exactly as planned. It was super fun to build this world of numbers and all the people in it. If you guys want to know more, the first 2 chapters are free to read on my website. If it doesn't get you hooked, then don't buy it. Anyway, let's get started. The first lesson learned that we're going to talk about is during the first draft. Let the first draft suck. It took me from October 2016 to June of 2017 to finish that first draft of Evelyn's Number, so almost 9 months. I was trying to get it absolutely perfect before moving on, so getting to the end of my story took ages. I actually ended up having to change a bunch of stuff because by the time I got to the end, a bunch of that stuff in the beginning wasn't accurate anymore. So all those early edits were just a huge waste of time. On the other hand, it took me less than 2 months to write Pearl's Number, which is the second book in the Number series, and now I'm able to already start editing. So let the first draft suck because you're going to edit the crap out of it later on. Which brings me to number 2, lessons learned during the self-edit. The biggest lesson that I learned is that beta readers are lifesavers. When you've gone over and over and over your story, you're fixing, updating, deleting, adding, repeating, all the above. You become completely blind to those glaring errors in your story. You just can't see them anymore. There's a lot of things that go into self-editing, and I tried so many different things, but I found that by far the biggest lifesaver is to have somebody else help you out and read what you've got and let you know what's wrong with it. Beta readers just totally rock. Which leads me to the third lesson learned during beta readers. The biggest lesson I learned when I was working with beta readers is that you can't please everyone. I assumed that if I had a plot hole, everyone would notice it, and if something was wrong, everyone would think it was wrong. Instead, I found out that if one person hated something, another one would like it, and if that person liked it, the other person would hate it. Now, this wasn't always the case. Sometimes they would generally agree, and even if there were some outliers, I could use the rule of 3, which is if 3 or more people agree, then there's a consensus, which is something I'll be talking about during my upcoming series on beta readers. But there were definitely times when people would just be all over the map and contradicting each other like crazy. You really can't please everybody, and that's okay. You need to write the story that you are dreaming about, not someone else's dream. Number 4 is lessons learned during the professional edit. Where do I even start? Some people say that they're professional, and then they turn out to be like cray-cray. So, enough said there. Other editors just have great references, but then they're so expensive. Whew. And then there's people who have great intentions and great prices, and you're like, yes, please, sign me up. But they might not have the training that you and your manuscript actually need. All that said, I think my top lesson learned during the editor stage is that you get what you pay for. And it's okay if you're a self-published author and you're just starting out with your debut novel to have a smaller budget. That's okay. However, do so with your eyes wide open, knowing that you get what you pay for. I worked with a very nice lady who did a wonderful job editing, and I worked through all her edits afterwards and thought I caught everything as well. But I was careful, and I also asked some friends and family to proofread the final book, and I did as well myself. And between us, we actually caught another 15 to 20 errors still in the novel. Spelling errors happen to the best of us, and I guarantee you that some best-selling authors have errors in their book because people are just human and we miss things. But they shouldn't miss that much. Again, you get what you pay for. Number 5 is the lesson learned during cover design. The biggest thing I learned by far was not to settle. I almost did the cover myself, and I'm so glad that I didn't. Your cover is your biggest selling point. It's the first thing that people see. It needs to be its absolute best. So I have a friend who majored in graphic design, and I asked her if I could hire her. And again, I say don't settle, because she and I came up with some really good ideas. They weren't bad, but she was gracious enough to let me keep saying, well, what about this idea? And what if we added this? And how about that? And she would work with me and come up with her own ideas until it finally fit my vision. And I'm so happy we didn't settle, because it turned those nice, okay book covers into just like a kabam book cover. And I'm so happy that we didn't settle and we kept pushing. Lesson number 6 is the lesson learned during the blurb or synopsis. Different people call it different things. This is just the back cover of your book. I'm actually going to repeat myself again here, because honestly, the biggest lesson I learned, once again, was don't settle. We just talked about how the cover is the biggest selling point for your book. Well, the back cover is the second biggest selling point. Picture yourself in a bookstore. You see a beautiful cover, so you pick it up. What do you do next? You flip it over. The back cover is what seals the deal. Your readers need to be hooked like that. I thought, how hard can it be to write this much? It shouldn't be that hard, right? But looking back on those old blurbs, oh my gosh, they were super lame. They didn't catch anyone's attention. They were too general. They dragged. They were so boring. They weren't portraying what the book was all about. I remember bringing my blurb to friends and family, and they were very encouraging. But then I went onto Facebook, and there are some beta reader groups on Facebook that are actually really awesome. And these total strangers started reading it, and that's when my eyes were opened. So I kept revising. I kept trying to bring in the elements that they were talking about that a great blurb will have. And eventually, total strangers were reading it and saying, this sounds exciting. I really want to read this. That's when I knew that it was finally ready, and I was so glad that I hadn't settled. Okay, number 7 is lessons learned during agents. My biggest lesson here is that you don't need an agent to self-publish. I guess this lesson is actually a little bit broader, and that is that you don't need to traditionally publish. You don't. Agents are really awesome if you want to go down the road of traditionally publishing, because from what I gather, they are the ones who fight for you and fight for your book. But if you're self-published, you don't need one. And self-publishing rocks. You have all the control. You make a much larger percentage off of your book. And did I mention you have all the control? Number 8 is lessons learned during marketing. I love marketing, and I'm constantly learning new things, new ideas, new possibilities. I think it's really fun. But I can definitely say the biggest lesson that I learned was that I wish I would have started sooner. Craziness, I know. But seriously, if I'd started a year sooner, I can't even imagine where my author platform would be right now. Social media and marketing is actually just as much about selling a brand as it is selling a product. And that's something you can start building right away. Marketing is so much fun for me. Maybe that's because you basically get to play on social media half the time. But I love it, and I've learned so much, and I'm going to be doing a video in the very near future on marketing, so stay tuned. Okay, number 9 is lessons learned during publishing. The biggest lesson I've learned so far is make sure you have time, extra time. Don't rush things. I knew I was kind of rushing myself, but I was so excited. I was like, I just want to get the book out in 2017 before I turn 30, because like I mentioned, I just turned 30 this month. I was like, if I do everything just right in this order, I'll be perfectly fine. Everything will go smoothly. Right? No, I'm here to tell you, things go wrong. They just do. There's going to be something, and it's going to be a different thing than last time. It's going to be a different thing for you than for that other person and that other person. Let's just say, for example, the shipment gets messed up and it doesn't get sent on time, and then the holidays happen and it gets delayed even further. and suddenly you're super behind on promised book deliveries and signed books. I don't know, that's completely out there. It's not a personal story at all. Things happen. My new plan is to give myself a full 2 months of cushion time, so to speak, between when I'm actually supposed to be done with the book and when I publish. Not only does that allow breathing room if and when things go wrong, because like I said, they go wrong, but it also allows you to send out advanced reader copies, and ARCs are an awesome marketing tool. Okay, number 10 is a bonus tip. It's kind of along the lines of what I shared in my last video on how to keep your goals. That is to believe that you can do it and surround yourself with people who also believe in you. It's crazy how much people can accomplish when they actually believe that they can. You need to cultivate the mentality of I can do this. Do whatever it takes to get that mentality in your head and break down those mental barriers that tell you that you can't do something. Get quotes from Pinterest, slap them on your wall, journal, do whatever it takes. Make it a priority to start speaking positive words over your life and over what you're doing. Seriously, try it for a week and let me know what you think. I promise you'll love it. Whew, all right, that's my top 10 tips for my debut novel, Evelyn's Number. I am learning a lot more as I write the second book in the series, Pearl's Number. You guys, I am so excited to be sharing what I've learned, and if there's anything that you need help with or you just have questions about, leave a comment below and I'd love to talk to you or even maybe make a video on it. Okay, now it's time for the sweet deal. Starting on my birthday, January 14th, and lasting 1 week from today through January 25th, I have a 30% off for my 30th deal. The link to my website with signed copies is below. This is my present to you guys, and your present to me would be to buy it. And now it is time for us to click on the link below and go over to Mari's channel and watch her 10 lessons learned from her debut novel. I'm so excited. Thanks guys for watching. If you like what you heard, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you can stay tuned for more writing videos in the future. I post writing videos every other Thursday. I hope you guys enjoyed our collaboration, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye. Say bye. Hey, oh, she got it.